Hey guys, I'm Dr. Gabriel Long. I'm excited to talk to you today about how care in the practice can shift at longer that you're under care. So the first phase of care in our practice is called the halt phase. It's all about stopping the body from getting worse. Unfortunately, most people that make their way into our practice are currently in a state of breakdown. So it works like this. Your nervous system controls and handles all the stress that you go through on a day-to-day basis. So think about all the physical stress, like slips and falls and traumas, but we have a lot of repetitive stresses as well, like sitting down in chairs all day, texting, lifting up kids, driving. You also have chemical stress. You have chemicals in your food, in your air, in the water. They're toxifying our bodies, and our nervous system has to handle that. And then emotional stress. Now, this makes up the majority of stress that we go through on a day-to-day basis. So most people, their nervous system is so overwhelmed, overloaded with stress chronically, day in and day out, that it's in a consistent, constant state of emergency and breakdown. This causes all the cells to break down faster than they should, causes inflammation to increase within your body, and ultimately leads to long-standing aches, pains, numbness, tingling, or even organs not working the way that they should. It's like a computer that has more windows open than it can handle. The more windows that are open, the processing system has to be aware of everything that's happening on that computer. So it slows down overall, and the less that you can truly continue to do before it breaks down, crashes, and you have to press Control Alt Delete. Now, when the nervous system is overloaded with stress, it's like having a ton of windows open on your brain's computer. There's a lot for it to manage, and the longer that we go through life, if these windows don't get closed down, it continues to hold on to it, it'll sweep it under the rug, and it'll continue to contribute to long-standing dysfunction of your body. So the first phase of the care, if you want to think about that computer operating system, is just to go back and close down all those windows. Every single stress that your nervous system has ever been through is recorded in time. Just like a computer, again, if we're going to open one of those windows, we can press back, 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 back. It recorded everything that happened. Well, your nervous system goes through all the stresses and records them in time as your body experiences them. So the first phase of care, closing down all those windows, you may bring a window up that you have not even experienced in a long, long time. You're like, oh man, I can't even remember last time I was working on that, right? It's the same thing with your nervous system. As we start to adjust you and we uncover these layers of dormant stress that have just been toxifying your body long term, you may feel some of the symptoms that are associated with that as well. So I have some people who are under care and they start progressing really, really well. They start sleeping better, but all of a sudden migraines that they haven't experienced in 30 years start to arise again. They're like, Doc, is there anything wrong? It's like, no, your body's healing great. It's finally working on the neurology that was associated with those headaches and migraines that's now causing your high blood pressure. Same nerve pathways, but your body's finally working on it and you're experiencing the symptoms that are associated with that neurological complex that you've been experiencing. So the first phase of care, get all those windows closed down again. Stop the body from breaking down. Relieve it of those dormant stresses that it's been experiencing for that long time. Okay? With this, every single adjustment is going to take pressure off of your nerves. Okay? That's what our goal is to allow your nervous system to work the way that it should. Your brain controls everything. So just like a hose, again, back to a new analogy, if you kink a hose, it slows down the water. If you kink a nerve, put pressure on a nerve, just the weight of a dime has shown to decrease the electricity through that nerve by 60 to 80%. That is completely detrimental to your body. It's extremely stressful to your body, and it disconnects your brain from being able to properly read the stresses that are applied to it and respond accordingly. So as we start to clear out those nerves, there's going to come a time where we have your nervous system working extremely well. Not only are old stresses going to start to be handled, but the new stresses that are coming into your body are finally being handled appropriately. Now, let's use a new analogy. Going to the gym, you put your body under stress, it rebounds by building up stronger so you can withstand even more stress the following time. Same thing. Every single adjustment as we take pressure off those nerves are going to rehabilitate how your body can handle stress. So with a clearer message being received by your muscles, and your brain's able to send that proper information out to your muscles contract the way that they should. This, with the muscles contracting the way they should, pull on the spine like braces pull on teeth. Your muscles will act like braces, realigning your spine, further taking pressure off those nerves, better connecting the brain to the body, and thus, opposite of a spiral effect, your body gets more efficient in its ability to heal. It's the exact opposite of the breakdown pattern. We call this the stability phase. We're restabilizing the spine. We're reconstructing the spine back into a proper structure. Remember, your bones are passive, meaning your bones, they don't move. Your bones get moved. So look back at your x-rays, and if we haven't reviewed them in a little while and you want to see where you were at when you started care, ask us doctors. We will sit down with you at any time and revisit all the findings from our initial visit so that you and I are on the same page. It's extremely important that we're a team. That's why I don't call you a patient. A patient is an extremely passive experience where the doctor works on you. But you and I are teammates along with Dr. AJ, and we're going to work together to get you your health results. So if you ever have any questions about where you started, we can revisit that anytime that you would like. But look for that sway in your spine. If the nerves are firing harder on your left side than your right side, then the muscles on your left side are going to contract harder than your right side. This is going to pull your spine to the left. So people wonder why they have these sways in their spine. It's not a spinal issue. It's a neurological issue that's causing a change in the muscle tone, which changes the structure of the spine. This can cause a lot of grinding in those joints, cause a lot of inflammation. It can lead to that pain, and we think we have a pain issue, and we don't, right? Which is why you can take a Tylenol, stretch, massage, do acupuncture, do whatever you want. Those things are great, and if your goal is just to feel better, I would recommend doing that, right? But if your goal is to fix it at its root and prevent further things from happening down the road, we have to take pressure back off that nerve. Now, again, in that second phase of care, long-standing, like braces, back to the braces analogy, braces take time and repetition to pull, so we have to keep that consistent contraction happening authentically to cause the muscles to pull that spine back into the proper alignment. The second phase of care can take anywhere between 6 months and 24 months, right? Once we get your body properly structured, and it might never fully go depending on the level of your arthritis, right? We'll talk to you specifically. We will transition you into what's called preventative or wellness care. The majority of people walking through our doors, we've been open for a while now, and we've had people that have been with us from the beginning, are in what's called wellness care. The reason that we have wellness care in our practice, and we're a wellness-based practice, is because we know it's so much easier to stay healthy than to get healthy. And I think we can all agree that nobody likes those emergency hospital visits. Nobody likes emergency surgeries. And the current research is showing that people who can get into a wellness phase of chiropractic, that are healing and continue to invest into their health, spend 80% less in healthcare costs. So chiropractic was never an expense in the first place. It was an investment that pays off with a longer life, a better life, and ultimately less finances being delegated to be the best version of yourself, which is the whole reason why we try to inspire people to bring their families anyways. You'll see a ton of kids coming in here. The majority of these kids are not sick. The majority of these kids have parents that were sick, that got healthy, and are not going to let their children go down that same path. I think that's a crucial component to understand in today's society with more stress and stimulation than we've ever had. Our children are on track, not adjusted, malnourished, addicted to screens, to be the sickest generation in the history of our species. Right? This is the first time that the overall life expectancy has tipped back down ever. And it's a direct result of the chronic stress in the healthcare system that we have here in America. Okay? So we're going to inspire you, if you do not have your kids checked and not currently getting them adjusted, get them checked immediately. If they're growing up, as the twig is bent, the tree grows. There's certain things that the majority of people I'm working with have been dealing with since they were children themselves, even if it wasn't causing a symptom. Because we know that pressure on a nerve can take up to 10 years. So think when you first started getting those symptoms. And go back 10 to 15 years. Think about the injuries that you incurred. I was that kid that you couldn't tell me not to do anything. Man, I got a fake tooth, a broken femur, broken wrist. I've got 3 stitches in my chin 3 times, staple in my head, multiple concussions with amnesia. There's nothing you could prevent me from doing as a kid. You told me I couldn't do it, I was more likely to do it. Very, very injury prone, but never really big symptoms when it came outside of healing. Now, as I started going to the chiropractor after I broke my femur, I started getting into a lot of pain in my late teens. Dad told me to go to a chiropractor. I went, and I felt like it was the first time that anybody was actually addressing the underlying, the root cause of what caused me to be healthy, not just treating my symptoms. So when it came time to figure out, hey, my mom's calling me. She's like, hey, what are you going to do? I was playing baseball at Western Illinois University. They're in with the University of Omaha. and in that same conference. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to play professional baseball. Don't worry about me. It's like, and she kept nagging me, kept nagging me. I had this light bulb go off. It said, become a chiropractor, right? This guy completely changed the trajectory of my life. I wouldn't have been able to play college baseball if it wasn't for him. I was in such bad shape, and I was like, I can do that too. So when we created this practice, it was for people that are sick to get well, and people that are well to prevent them from getting sick. I've been adjusted consistently since 2004. I will never go back to the version of me that was unadjusted, because I know the trajectory of my life at that frequency of healthcare, of, oh, just wait till there's a problem, put a Band-Aid over it. And I got to tell you, it's not a great way to live life. When you look at the average human being, the average American especially, we are not healthy. We're medicated, we're depressed, anxiety, we're malnourished, like I was saying earlier. Our bodies are breaking down at an accelerated rate, and the worst part about that is it's not going to be a burden on us. It's going to be a burden on our children and our grandchildren. We're going to rob them of the best version of ourselves when it's something that we could have easily prevented in the first place. I want to see you win in life. I want to see you get everything that you deserve in life, and I want to see you be the best version of yourself for your spouse, your family, and your friends. So, with those phases of care, depending on where you're at in care, I want you to help clarify, where am I? And where am I heading? And if there's any questions on that, bring that up to us docs. We'll be happy to sit down and revisit exactly where you're at, because everything in this practice is extremely thorough, thought out, and intentional. There's no cookie cutter system here. You are an individual that has your own stresses, your own story, your own goals, and we're here to help you reach those goals.